I've been indoctrinated by you lot. Now I'm calling it soccer as well.
Oh, you've been poisoned.
Yeah, I've been poisoned. American colonialism is that.
It's what we do. You guys were the best, but we've taken over.
Yeah. Canada and Greenland, soon to be yours.
Fuck. I'm talking to Canadians about that. They're like, this is getting weird. I'm like, yeah, you guys are already a little America, so like.
We'll leave that there. So, speaking of international relations, Russian spies in the lead up to this fight. I mean, I know we took it back, but talk to me about the saga of Kopylov and his Russian spies that we eventually had to maybe retract.
Yeah, so I thought he was in fact evil giant Russian Chase Hooper, but he's just giant Russian Chase Hooper. He's not actually evil. Actually seems to be pretty nice. But yeah, unfortunately, I always say coincidences are bullshit, but yeah, man, like 3 random things happened to be happening simultaneously that made this really awkward. So very rarely am I wrong, but I will admit that I'm wrong when I am, and like I was wrong. I apologize. Like my bad, Russian Chase Hooper. But yeah, like so who's Johnny Walker fighting?
Bogdan Gustav.
Yeah, so he's usually at our gym. But I guess Johnny Walker got here first, so he's like, okay, I'll train at Syndicate. Fine, he's Russian, whatever. I guess his corners came out before him, and he was like, no, go to Extreme. That's where he usually trains. There's 85ers there for you. So they came in. Those were the 2 Russians. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, no problem. So I guess when he got into town, Kopylov came in roughly the same time. So when he got in, his teammates left to go train with him at Syndicate. And I didn't know that. I didn't know where his corners. So I'm just like, okay, Russians are gone, cool. And then like a day later, like, oh, Kopylov's in town. I'm like, oh, also cool, whatever. Like no issue, I got no beef with him. And then over the holidays, I see people like, oh shit, you see this? It's them at the PI with Kopylov, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What is this about? Like that's pretty weird. That's pretty scummy. And come to turn out, so you have him being at a Syndicate, him flying into town, and then over the holidays, everywhere was closed, right? So Syndicate was closed too, and they're at Syndicate, so they went to the PI, both at the same gym but training separately, but they're like, there's nowhere to train, so with the PI. So it's awkward, my bad. Like I was, like it's like fucking conspiracy theories over here. I'm like, well, who does this? I was shocked, like who does, I didn't know we still did this. I thought this died years ago, so I was like, what is happening right now? It's very strange, so my bad, I was wrong, it happens.
Because you saw him, right, and got to say to him,
Yeah.
was he kind of like, what?
He speaks no English. So that went well. Like so, I'm talking to the guy Johnny's fighting. He explains it to me. I'm like, oh shit, that makes more sense. We kind of hashed out like what happened. So as we're doing that in the PI locker room, Kopylov happens to walk in, and I'm like, oh shit, Roman Kopylov. And I'm like, do you speak English? And he's like, no. So I'm like, okay, hold on. So I'm trying to figure out what to say. I think it was one of the Nurmagomedovs was there. I think who's this really small one?
Umar?
I think it was Umar, actually. He was like, I'll translate. I was like trying to talk to Kopylov. We're doing hand signals. Umar's like, I'll translate for you. It's fine. So like, thanks. I believe it was Umar. Thanks to Umar, we figured out what happened. And I apologize. I'm like, my bad, man. Like, I'll clear it up. Like, I really am sorry. I just thought it was super fucking weird. He's like, no, everyone mad at me, brother. I'm not a bad guy. I was like, no, you're not evil Russian Chase Hooper. You're just Russian Chase Hooper. I'm sorry. I felt bad. I was like, fuck, my bad.
In your career, have you ever, because we do hear those stories, right, of people sending guys, especially in boxing, you hear about spies and camps. Have you ever seen anything like that? Like at Extreme, it's a big gym, guys come through. Have you ever seen someone and been like...
Oh, yes. Yeah. Extreme's had a problem with this before, to where like we've had to crack down on who the fuck's allowed in the gym when people like really big fights in camp, because some weird shit has gone down, and like we're just like, okay, like it's one of those things to where Extreme is one of the most awesome gyms. We've open door policy, like like we want to train, come train, but we've had to kind of cut back on like who we allow in at what times, because that shit does happen. So like you've seen it, but I was like, okay, whatever. But it's just shocking that it would happen to me. I guess I felt special. I was like, it wouldn't happen to me. I'm like, who does that? Like, yeah. So that's what caught me off guard.
And I know that you and Sean Strickland had a bit of a friendship divorce there, but it seems like you guys are back on the same page. Is that just down to brothers arguing and you guys kind of fall out and then make friends again over and over?
Understand that I've known Sean Strickland longer than most people. I've known Sean, going on like 10 years now. So it's always funny when like people are like, oh, forget, like, get over it. I'm like, you guys know the caricature of Sean. Like, all right? Like, I've been in this for like 10 years now. And there are times to where I've debated hitting him with a brick. Like, not even, I don't even say this. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna hit you with a fucking brick. Like, I don't care, like, where it goes. And like, this time led to a fist fight as well. And we were like really about to throw down. And the entire gym is like, are you guys really doing this? And we're about to like actually throw down. And I'm like threatening to cripple him before he fights Dricus. Like, I will fucking cripple you. And like, so we get out of hand. But like, I've known Sean for a long time. So we do have our own issues. And like, there's shit we will still need to discuss and talk about, and like, you kind of put everything up front. But right now, like, this fight's important to me. Like, I can't lose 2 in a row. Like, I can't. Like, I really can't. Especially after the last fights where I thought I had it. Like, for my own mental well-being, like, it's really hard to lose 2 in a row. So I need to focus on this. And he's going out there to fight for a UFC title and get his belt back. Like, we don't have time to focus on like shit that's not conducive to the goal. One of my favorite sayings ever is singularity of purpose. Everything we have to do right now has to be with the sole purpose of achieving this next goal. So we'll get along fine. We'll be fine for now. Like, we figured it out. We're kind of like just moving past it. We'll address it in the future. At the end of the day, I'm always gonna be pulling for him. Like, I want him to fucking succeed. I want him to succeed in the cage. I want him to succeed in life. Even when the times where I'm just like, bro, like, I can't fucking stand you, but like, that's how it is. Like, my actual biological brother, I can't stand most of the time. So I'm like, no real difference. Like, it's whatever. We'll be fine. We'll figure it out later, but we've got jobs to do right now. So we're trying to focus on doing the job.
If you're shouting, I'm going to cripple you at him, what is he shouting back?
Oh, he's fucking terrible. He's like, oh God, what did he say? He said something that pissed me off. What did he say? Like, I'm not gonna go into it, but like, it came down to I'm going to cripple. I'm gonna cripple you. And then he's like, we were like, oh fuck, let's go fight right now. We're like getting ready to go fight, and people were like, are we doing this right now? Like, it's like regular business hours, and you guys are out here being crazy. Like, yeah. So we
kids jiu-jitsu class just walking past.
Not far off. Like, it's just, they're just like, just going on. Like, yeah. So we have our own issues to deal with, but like I said, we've got, even more important than that, we've got futures to think about. And right now, both of our futures depend on, our being able to do our job. So let's focus on doing our job. We'll fucking sing Kumbaya later and figure it out.
Obviously, you were asked a million times about Sean and DDP's first fight. Now that fight's over and now that they're fighting again, obviously you're going to be picking Sean. But how do you see that fight kind of playing out?
2 coked out chimpanzees in a phone booth, man. Like, that's the Dricus fight. Like, I think honestly, that's just how Dricus fights. It's like what do you do? Like, God, it's so funny because like everyone I know has ever always clowned on Dricus the way he fights. She's like, it's fucking wild. But you know what? God damn, it's effective. People always ask, like, how is he doing this? And I tell people, like, it's like trying to learn to tango, but your partner doesn't know the moves. So you're like, what's happening? You're like, he's just doing shit that's not on beat. He doesn't know the moves. He didn't read the manual. And like, that's how it's hard to fight Dricus. You don't really know what he's doing. So I just want to see this. Like, as a fan of the sport, I am kind of like burnt out on the sport a lot. Like, as a fighter, I love it. I love fighting. I don't really watch fights as much as I used to. But as a fan of the sport, even without my personal investment in it, I really just want to see this play out because it's such an awkward clash of 2 really awkward, probably the 2 most awkward people in the division fighting each other. So like, there's a lot to take away from that. It's like the short bus special. Like, I'm very excited. Am I wrong though? Like, Sean is awkward as fuck. Like, Sean is awkward as fuck to fight. That's why people struggle to fight him when you like run into each other for the first time. You're like, what is this? Like, I don't know what this is. And for as awkward as Sean is, Dricus is like 4 times worse. But in a different way. So like, the 2 most awkward dudes in the division happen to be really good at fighting. So I just want to see it.